Ladies and gentlemen, good evening and welcome to the Wargaming.net League North America. I'm your host for today, Andre Graytor Pengshua, joined alongside my good friend Randall Rootkill Holcomb. I'm filling in for Joshua Clutch Gray, who is right now over in Las Vegas. We actually switched places.
Oh, yeah,
like, you come over here, I'll go over there. We'll just do the dance.
Yeah, part of me is a little jealous that you live in Vegas because it seems like a really cool place to just live.
It's a great place to live. I'm not a big I'm not a drinker at all. I'm not a big gambler, even though it's a little bit of my
from time to time, you live there. You might as well enjoy the area. But
exactly.
It is funny that the two of you switched. Why didn't you guys just coordinate that one?
We should have just, planned it out that he comes, I'm still there, and then when he comes back, all three of us could be together.
You guys should have pulled the greatest prank and just did like and just switched spaces. Like you just show up as Clutch, sit down at his desk, do his password, everything, and just start working as Clutch. And then he goes to where you are.
So it's like The Office, right?
Yeah.
Where
yes.
Asian Jim.
Exactly.
I get it. Yeah. Maybe next time. Maybe for April 1st. That being said, guys, we've had a lot of fun. 3 matches for the day thus far. And a lot of you guys have been tweeting at us and Facebooking us. Thank you. And for those of you that also want to tweet at us and Facebook us, you can do so at twitter.com/WGLNA and facebook.com/WGLNA. Make sure to hashtag WGLNA and also answer the question. What's the question, Ru?
The question is, who are you rooting for to get into the playoffs?
And why?
Why?
140
characters. Don't forget, you got to take away a few of them for the hashtag WGLNA and at WGLNA, so be efficient.
Be very efficient.
But make sure just to say more than just the team. If you don't say why, then what does it even mean?
That's right. Just an empty
statement.
Yeah.
Yeah. We really want some substance with it.
That's right. So have substance with your tweets in less than 140 characters. That being said, guys, our next match, the 4th match of tonight and the last one, is going to be RBIS against I Love Lamp, the Simp Slayers. RBIS is on the top echelon of, I would say, the people that could potentially be relegated from the playoffs. So they definitely need the win here. I Love Lamp is a little bit above that, where they're secure. We're going to find out with their what their mindset is going into this match and series. Let's go ahead and push it over to the face-off. Gentlemen, good evening.
Good evening.
Hey.
All right, we'll start with I Love Lamp since we didn't really get I guess a post-presser with you guys. How are you guys feeling coming off of the win? I'm sure it feels great, but talk us through what it was like to take out the divisional leaders last week.
Well, we went in there with confidence, how they told you guys on his last face-off. And we're going to give it our all, and we won. So we believed in ourselves that we could win. So at the end, when we won, we're like, wow, we did it. So it's not an impossible feat. And of course, we were elated the entire night. We went to sleep like 5 hours later. But for Wednesday came, and we just totally forgot about it, and we focused on RBIS now.
Yeah, obviously you guys had to put a ton of work and time and commitment into taking out a team like Simp. What has changed in I Love Lamp as you guys have kind of ascended it into this pretty nice prominence in the division?
Practice. We started practicing with European teams and some of the Russian guys in the servers. So we've been putting lots of hours, actually. And we barely scrim in NA anymore.
Gotcha. It's definitely... Go ahead.
And I can't help after last night getting into a conversation with a few of the guys on your team. Did Aggressor give you any tips for how to dress for this face-off?
Maybe Laps and start the outfit too.
Okay. So you guys have all been working on your face-off game.
Yep.
All right.
It looks pretty strong there.
Yeah.
Of course, over here on RBIS, you guys, I'm not going to say it's like a losing streak as of late. Yes, you guys have lost, but it's been so close. You're also in a position where you're so close in the playoffs. You're at the top, but you're also tied with 3 other teams. What's it like going into Week 7, Day 2? Talk us through this situation. How's the team morale? How are you guys feeling as the pressure is kind of building here?
Well, I think we don't feel a whole lot of pressure. I mean, obviously we want to win, but I think we're all pretty laid back. This is a tank game, obviously, so you can't take it overly seriously. But I think we are all in and pretty much win or go home mode at this point, because that's pretty much where we're at.
And so far, your reaction, even to your opponents beating Simp last time, does that make them a little more scary? Are they still the humanized, I guess, team that you guys know them to be, or is it like that you have to be a little bit more cautious going into each of these battles?
I mean, to be honest, I have no idea who anybody's playing week to week. I don't know who we're playing week to week, so that's kind of where I'm at. I'm sure. I think pre-cam and people actually pay attention, but I just kind of log in and play, but basically.
You just show up and blow up, that kind of deal.
Yeah, pretty much.
Just...
I show up and play. I mean, I play a lot, and I stream a whole lot, so that's obviously I'm playing the game and trying to grind out these missions, but it's mostly when do I need to show up tonight kind of deal.
I getcha. Crushing face, taking names. Well, hopefully you do that tonight, gentlemen. Good luck to both of you. Do you have any words for each other, starting with I Love Lamp?
Good luck. I think it's gonna be GG's. I have my lucky Illuminati trinket. I have my Christmas tree still up. we have Invade's flashlight, Rukel. And yeah, look forward to it.
And from RBIS?
Tell Invade to talk to that guy at the library. Just saying. He'll know what I'm talking about.
All right, boys. Well, good luck, and I'll see you guys on the battlefield.
Thanks.
A lot of inside jokes.
Not even gonna.
No?
No.
I know you know something.
I know, but there's too much intricacy in those jokes, and I did not expect those to come out. I spent like 5 minutes in a TeamSpeak with those guys yesterday, just because I was invited before I went home, after just getting prepared for the broadcast.
Sure.
They invite me into a TeamSpeak, and you will not believe how uproarious. Uproarious. Like,
wow.
It is like there's a constant roar in your ears of the amazing amount of energy and chatter that the guys from I Love Lamp have. Like, that is just minutes with them.
A lot of that passion spills over into your play a lot of times. It gets you motivated to really crush face.
They seem pretty motivated. They're about as motivated as you can be.
I mean, there's something to say about like a positive outlook and also being, I guess, realistic with your outlook too.
Yeah, there's both sides, but I think I Love Lamp takes the stance of just getting crazy. Like, absolutely just hyped to play. And that's what they ride on throughout the entire series. So when they started beating Simp, I bet those guys were just jumping out of their seats between battles.
Well, and he said 5 hours extra time that they didn't go to sleep. I mean, if you're going to sleep at a reasonable time, let's just say 1 a.m. I mean, we're nerds, right? We're staying up pretty late. 1 a.m. That means you're staying up till 6 a.m. after a win. That's pretty hype, man. I mean, that's awesome.
I've done that before. I've know plenty of people who've done that. Stay up all night talking about strats or practicing with a few small group of people. Yeah. And you just realize after a few hours, oh, I have to go to school in like an hour, guys. I'm sorry. I can't continue a practice session.
But that's like team camaraderie. That's when you really build that trust. Everything comes together. Man, that's really cool for I Love Lamp. Yeah. Really excited for them. As we said, they're the slayers of Simp from last week. Of course, Simp is known as the divisional titans right now, as they are leading 10 wins ahead of everybody.
And right now, actually, before you get a chance, speaking of Simp, Fear is 3-2 over Simp right now in the offline battle, as I'm being told. Wow. So we'll be sure to get that one, get the updates for you as they come in. But battle number 1. It's time.
Let's do it, baby.
All right, taking a look at the tanks from RBIS, the red team defending, we have a T-32, 2 1390s, 3 RU-251s, and a 5916. Balanced lineup from them. I Love Lamp is going to be bringing a Pershing and a T-69 for mobility, 3 RU-251s as traditional scouts, an E-25 by Baby Halo, and I think he's about the only person who does use that. And then Starshield will be having his M41 Walker Bulldog.
Talk me through the E25 pick, because in general, I always feel like it is not that great. Obviously, I'm playing it very differently. I have my IS-3 when I find this little baby Halo.
Yes.
But obviously, the super low profile, is this just a capping machine?
Pretty much.
Why not go with the 5916 then? What's the strengths of baby Halo's tank E25 rather than the
It's
5916?
even shorter.
Even shorter.
It's even shorter than a
Even shorter.
5916.
Wow.
And I mean, if you really care that much about having that short of a tank, awesome. It's fantastic for you. But I find that there are probably better options because as a tank destroyer, I mean, you're so short and small and you have so little health that I'd be worried that you're just going to go down
Sure.
to
in a
two
couple hits,
really
right?
bad hits.
Yeah. Well, they definitely don't have that that many hit points, 830. But we have standard west versus east lineups coming out of the defenders and the attackers. Attackers are all the way on the west side, looking for that fast cap, or at least the cap to force an engagement. And of course, the east side of the defenders. A couple of shots going out here. Is there any traded hit points so far?
Just a little bit onto Sela. I think he took maybe, he's at 1330 out of 1550, so maybe a heat shell may have penned, but it also could have been a really nice HE pen. I'll actually investigate.
Looks like...
Let's see. Pen right to the front with a heat shell.
All right.
He got a little bit too aggressive, and so it hit the front of his turret. Oh,
There we go.
almost the same spot. That coming from, it looks like Akula off in the distance. He is just at the right angle where he might be able to get those shells to kind of land. Now, shots fired onto the cap.
By the way, I love... This is a little bit different. Normally, the cap location is going to be somewhere over here. Baby Halo normally goes over here. That's where we see other tanks. But no, look, even the trees knocked down, so it adds a little bit more camo value.
Yeah, Sela might be able to
looks
get the
good.
shot, but the fact that the E25 is so very short is making
Yeah.
it a difficult target. So
Oh, man.
I think we need to see
It's the
this
new meta. Oh man, new meta.
Oh gosh, I really think that the tank should be much bigger. I don't know how human beings fit inside of it.
Do you know what's better than one E25?
What?
If you put two E25s behind here. Oh
but,
my gosh.
But then you have two E25s, and then why did you put one E25?
It's
Because-
okay, bro. It's okay. You're capping twice as fast.
Yeah,
new
but-
meta. Hashtag new meta.
but-
Hashtag WGLNA.
But there's like twice as much space to hit now with blind fire.
You just put it in front. That's all.
Oh,
Good to go.
but I think it's in its
Root
position.
kill. You're looking into it way too much.
Oh yeah, I'm trying too hard.
Too much logic, bro.
Got you. I got you. Now pre-cam takes the risky move, moves up and over to spot Baby Halo, but he's not lit.
Oh,
He
man.
has to go up and over. He has to go just run the gauntlet to try and spot Baby Halo, and you're seeing all these shells land everywhere around him.
Wow, he's actually dodging very well.
That's just
not anymore, pre-cam.
it's passion. It's passion right now for victory.
Passion over 9,000, man.
Exactly.
He's going for this cap reset.
He's got the spot.
No!
Baby Halo.
Okay, down he goes.
But the reset did happen. We have
Hashtag
that.
but at what cost?
You're right.
Hashtag WGLNA.
And now Sela takes down Baby Halo, and that'll be an even trade.
Yep.
So
So
not-
not nearly that bad. A lot of missed shots. I mean, pre-cam, his driving skills there are pretty nice, man.
I-
mean, go ahead.
Yeah, I think a little bit luck on his side there. It was
I
like an
think so.
action movie.
Yes, it was.
It was like the hero walking past all of the various anonymous villains, and I Love Lamp probably could have done a better job at stopping him, I think. But RBIS, you have to give it to him. Pre-cam knew what to do and when to do it, and his
Right.
team followed up and took advantage of the opening he made. Now, Aggressor and Soldier are passing into the open, which is risky, but they're not going to be punished for it. RBIS is not looking at the right moment.
No, they've kind of converged backwards and trying
Although-
to kite this as much as possible.
Sela misses the shot onto Aggressor.
Doesn't look like it's some sort of reload, so I don't know why they're backing up so much. Aggressor does take a big hit, though. He needs to be so careful because he is on the front of the lines, and he has not a lot of hit points. Oh,
Aggressor needs only to take one more shell. I think Akula on the
Alright.
flank is going to be important as well, but Mi Amigo's going to kind of
he
play
gets rid of
man
his
coverage.
whole clip, though, so that helps.
Yes, it does. Now Soldier very low, and Mi Amigo trying to play man on Akula gets focused down. Really smart play from I Love Lamp. At the same time, looks like they're going to focus down Akula in response, remove that flanker, and then fight Breast Cancers being taken down by Oxmathis and Gabriel Angelos. Sela forced to back off on low hit points, more focus fire, and yet again, I think RBIS handled this perfectly.
Man, they
Perfect.
look so good, man. They look so good. I mean, that's the way you play defense on that map. Just let your opponents come into you. I love the sacrificial trade. As you said, a little bit crazy. Was an action scene. If you told me Bourne was driving this little baby, I'd believe it. Because look at how many shots he misses. This doesn't make sense.
Yeah,
it could be Bourne. It could be Liam Nielsen. Doesn't matter.
Daniel Craig.
Could be Daniel Craig as well.
I think that would work pretty well in the situation. But
Man.
he just doesn't stop.
And look, and he even gets the cap reset too, right?
No, he doesn't get the reset.
Okay. He spots.
He spots for it. T-32s bring in the rain.
Wow. I love the E25 though. Not gonna lie, it's a one-trick pony, I think.
That's pretty much its
but
job.
it's a nice little throwing a wrench in.
Yeah.
Throwing it in.
Just throw him off a little bit. Although,
Throwing it in.
did you just lose your pen?
I have like 3 or 4 more others.
Here's
so
another one.
okay.
You've got one right there too. Okay, you're set. Okay.
I love it, dude. I mean, it's really clever. I know what you're going to say. It's gimmicky and stuff, but these are the type of things that you need to bring to your matches to just keep your opponents honest. We were talking about it before. It's the small little adjustments, how you get that little tiny advantage, that extra 5, 10, 15% equity that you're going to get, or 15% success rate that you're going to get, is all the difference between becoming a 50-50 to a 55% win rate in the series overall.
Maybe,
that's a
but
big difference.
I think the E25 is not the right choice. Something that isn't so obvious for a cap. I think something that would appear as though it had other intentions, just to do a better job at accomplishing the same
because it's
thing.
polarizing, right? It's
Exactly.
like the E25 can only be for a cap, and that's it. So it's either your opponents are hard defending, or they're not, and they don't know how to deal with the E25. So you're really saying, my opponents, are you capable of stopping a regular cap? Of course, in this case, they were. I Love Lamb comes up short in the last series. Let's find out what we have in battle number 2.
And for tanks, RBIS with a single T-32, 2 1390s, 3 RU-251s, and a 59-16. No big changes here. I Love Lamp going with 2 Pershings, 3 RU-251s, that E25 again, and now the M41 yet again. So we'll have to see where he's headed off to. I'm seeing a little damage done as people are running into each other. Baby Halo this time is actually going to add some value to the E25 by using it passive in the middle of the field, actually. And while I don't think RBIS is going to ride out to find him or deal with him, or I'm not sure why he was there in the first place, because I don't know many strategies that would utilize that position to any advantage, I guess it's just a nice place to leave him until you figure out the north is safe.
Makes sense. You don't want to, obviously lose your one key tank that's going to initiate some sort of engagement. Obviously, if you lose that, what are you going to do? How do you engage? You want to be the defenders almost, right, as the aggressors. That sounds weird, but if you start that cap, all of a sudden it turns around and you become the defenders and say, come into me and stop this cap. So if you lose the E25, big problem.
Yes, exactly. It's a good idea to protect it. I think, though, that now that RBIS has seen it, they'll be more able to counter it.
I
Also,
agree.
I'm getting an announcement now. Simp against Fear. The current score is 4-2 in favor of Fear.
Got to be careful with that, though, because they could be switching around to defenders, and now Simp is...
It's possible, but...
It's possible. We'll find out more information about that, whether they're the defenders right now or not, because it easily goes into 4-4, and it follows standard expected results. Whoa,
Possibly,
a little bit of damage here.
But
I heard the fizzle, though.
But if I know anything about the way Simp's been playing lately, it's not the case that we're going to see that defense attack flap. This is probably a series that Simp is falling behind, and they have been struggling lately. We'll be able to look at that one later, and I'm sure to be reviewing that one from the WGL Fantasy League.
Brew, is this the fall of the Titans? That's what we have to ask. And if it is the fall of the Titans, who's going to take their place?
I mean, we're looking at 2 teams who have defeated Simp in the past. I mean, it's a one-time thing so far, and maybe Simp doesn't appreciate us pointing out the one time they've been beaten next to the numerous times they've defeated these opponents in the past.
Well, it's the fact that this is the small little things that we have to grasp to find a weakness in Simp. It's definitely not something that we want to say, well, I mean, obviously we're pointing out everything bad. It's that there's so little bad things that's the only stuff that has to be pointed out. because they play just so solid otherwise.
Exactly. Now, same exact strategy coming out of I Love Lamp right now. Shell's going over Baby Halo's position. And no connections yet. I think we might see the same suicide run from Precam, but maybe something a little different is in order because I Love Lamp will expect that counter move. And you have a lot of these, I know what you're doing, you know what I'm doing, we all know what you're going to do next.
Yep.
Are they prepared to counter that?
Precam taking a lot more damage this time around. Was able to dodge a couple more shots, but that's it. Baby Halo will stay alive for the meantime.
Although,
really, really tough.
Look to the far north. We've got Akiyama Smiley, Oxmathis up there. And with them,
Could be an overmatch.
it could be an overmatch and a suicide
Potential.
run kind of to just
Yeah.
get rid of it. Yep, here they come. They're going up and over. Engagement will first go into Aggressor, and they'll try to take down Baby Halo. They can with Invade up there as well. That is a huge overmatch. And they're also going to fight further to the south as well.
Oxmathis only got one shell off in his 1390, a big problem. Now Miamigo and Gabriel are pushing into the center, but they will be shut down pretty much. Akula V is going to come in from the side and just run over Gabriel and Miamigo here.
Yeah, this is a fight that's really not worked out for RBIS. They had to take so many hit points and damage in order to start that engagement, and I Love Lamp accepted that fight gladly,
Yeah.
I think.
Man, I'm telling you, the E25 is coming up huge in this battle in particular, and I think it had potential in the last battle. I'm not counting it out completely, Rootkill. I know you said, it's a little gimmicky, but this has been consistent, man.
You may have a point there. I may give that to you, but I'm going to have to look at the damage dealt by the E25. I don't think he really came into play for the fight.
No, it's not the damage that he's doing, it's the initiation that he's doing. The forced initiation of his opponents, and you almost turn the tides because the E25 has such a low profile. It's actually hard to see. It definitely is in a position where, RBIS has to overcommit to kill that E25, and if they lose pre-cam and he's not driving like a complete maniac and dodging every single shot, well, you're going to be in a losing position because you're down a tank, and on top of that, you have to cross and become the aggressor. So winner to I Love Lamp. Congratulations to them. Tie up the series 1-1.
Yeah, I think that this is just the other side of the coin of the same strategy.
Exactly.
Yeah.
Exactly.
And I don't know if the first time they attempted it helped I Love Lamp in the way that anything beyond, I think, the pre-cam kill, I think the pre-cam kill was something to be expected on both sides. RBIS should have predicted when they saw the E25 again, they were running into the same strategy, into the same attack, and figured out very quickly that they needed to counter it out. So, what do you do to counter that out? Last time they had to use pre-cam and have them go on a suicide run. If you're going to do that a second time, it's not going to work.
Correct.
That's generally the way it works in World of Tanks with light tanks.
Also, I want to mention that the north side push is a lot of times refuted, and that's why we see the south side push from the defenders. They'll actually come up underneath the aggressors.
Yes.
It sounds weird because I keep switching the names, but they'll come underneath the RBIS. No. They'll come underneath what?
I Love
I
Lamp.
Love Lamp.
Okay, so I Love Lamp.
And then
situation.
shoot from the south side. And that's when they're able to catch tanks out of position. They have another crossfire onto the flag cap, and they can stop it that way. But by them choosing to do the north side push, you can see how the train tracks stifles not only a lot of the shots, but also stifles them from moving across since their sides are exposed to a lot of the crossfires inherently.
It just reminds me immediately. You think, what is it? Art of War. There's just a section in there on terrain and how it affects. They cross some incredibly difficult terrain. It slows them down, makes it more difficult to engage the enemy, and when you're caught out in it, you're just going to go down. So now, we've seen both sides of one strategy. They're going to flip sides. Is there going to be something that either of these guys can bring that's going to throw us off or throw their opponents off? It's really a mystery to me because the first strategies were weird for my Love Lamp.
Yep. Well, we'll find out as we head into battle number 3. It's tied up 1-1 apiece, and let's find out as I Love Lamp is now the defending team.
All right, looks like we've got 2 T-32s, 2 1390s, 2 RU-251s, and a 5916 from RBIS. I Love Lamp will be going with 2 Pershings, a 1390, 3 RU-251s, and a T-37. So Lamp on the defense is going to go with a lighter, faster lineup next to RBIS's attacking, heavier lineup with T-32s. I find that rather curious because you would usually assume the
opposite.
the opposite to be true.
Yeah, it's interesting. Although I don't mind it, especially if it's like a West versus East ordinary type of opening, I guess. But it's actually the complete opposite of what we would expect. The aggressors are actually going to the east side, and the defenders are going to the west side.
Yeah.
Kind of counting each other out.
It's real great. I got news for you.
What's that?
Fear wins over Simp.
Wow.
5-2.
5-2. That is incredible. The downfall of the Titans. It paves the way for someone to fill that void, that's for sure. They're still on the top. They're still in first place. But it's still a fact that they're pretty mortal, that's for sure. I mean, they're not showing the dominant streak that they have in the beginning of this season.
Yeah, definitely not. Something's going wrong. I know that Mac was recently switching from calling to trying to take a back seat. May have had an effect on the general just position that Simp is in. We'll have to see if they can recover from that and how that will affect them in the future, but I'm holding off right now.
Yep. I mean, there's still, it's a lot of conjecture at this point, so we don't want to go too far into it. As it stands right now, it looks like a west side engagement, and RBIS, because they start in the west, they have a jump onto this cap, so they're actually moving across cap. Is I Love Lamp ready for this attack?
I think they don't
like
think they
barely,
are. They
right?
definitely don't believe it. They're backing off.
Yeah.
They're deciding, let's not deal with this situation. This is not somewhere where we have an advantage. Let's give some ground, regroup, and then attempt to engage. Now, you can see RBIS has, I think, misjudged the situation. They brought in a flanking force of light tanks, brought them through, realized they needed to continue their maneuver. They could not just stop in the open or redirect it the other way. It would have taken more damage. They take the best route, given the situation, and attempt to kind of salvage that attack. They can still use that flanking force, but I think they need to pay a little bit more attention to their west flank, as Akula showed up without any real punishment and was able to hit Gabriel and slow the cap. Now, I Love Lamp, taking an advantageous position, is going to have the high ground in this fight and be able to just surround and play with their opponent as they wish.
Wow, this is beautiful. Really punishing their opponents and their mobility. Those Pershings are coming out strong as they're able to keep up with their opponents. T-32s obviously are slow, not only their turrets, but just turning, moving, etc.
Whoa, Fight Breast Cancer has gone too far in. This is too aggressive. This is unnecessary, I think. And he should go down soon, but RBIS is missing a lot of shells that they should otherwise be able to connect. Although Smiley and Gabriel will go down for Fight Breast Cancer. I think that's a more than valuable trade there. Sella will also go down, and now only 2 remain for RBIS.
Again, you look at the minimap, and the blue team has just encased the red team, surrounding them. Everything looks perfect, and you have 180 plus degrees of concave. You're going to end up winning the battle. Very nicely played by I Love Lamp. 2-1 above their opponents. Man, I Love Lamp looking good.
Yeah. They've
very, very strong.
They've been looking just so strong lately. In the last few matches we've gotten to see them, it's very comprehensive, and it shows an understanding of just a really. I think they simplify a lot of what they do, not in a bad way, but I think that they don't overcomplicate things, and they just take a lot of what they're doing at face value.
Yeah. Well,
and I can see that, and I feel like I want to explain this with the play, which is they saw that they were in a bad position, and they said, we're in a bad position, leave. And you didn't see some kind of weird maneuver where you're seeing individual players go to certain spots. You're seeing that group just back off, and the players that happened to be in the right spot got in the right position. Everyone else just kind of grouped up and waited for the right moment, and then they just moved their flank around.
Yeah, look at that surround. It's just gorgeous. Gorgeous, this shot. What I love about this team, I Love Lamp so far, is if we look at expectations, I always like to do this. You look on paper. If you're going into a brawl straight up, who's going to win? The heavier team. So RBIS should be winning more often than losing, just because I Love Lamp has the 2 Pershings instead of the T-32s. So
that's based on that way of analyzing it.
Correct.
But you can also go with different approaches.
So after I say that, I say, okay, if they go into a brawl, technically the heavier lineup should end up winning. They have more hit points. They have very similar DPMs.
Yeah.
Okay, what is the actual result? Of course, RBIS loses in that last battle. Why is that? It's because of the positioning, because of the better decision making, because they're encasing their opponents in a huge 180-degree plus arc. All these things, how are they able to get there? That's the true beauty of these teams. That's how you look and see, wow, that's a huge skill difference against their opponents. That's what we're seeing from I Love Lamp.
And I need to point out that that's why you bring a Pershing as opposed to a T-32. What can you accomplish with the tanks that you choose, right? A T-32 has purposes, and yes, if you go face-to-face, should win T-32.
Yes.
But when you bring that Pershing, you bring in also other soft stats that you don't really get to appreciate until you have to maneuver with a Pershing as opposed to a T-32.
What are soft stats to you?
So things that you can't just give the numerical value. You can, in a way, if we wanted to, but they're not the things that we usually look for. It's not like the alpha. It's not like the accuracy. It's not like the penetration of the gun. It's about the way that tank moves and the way it positions up, the play style that you're forced to use.
Almost like the utility factor. It's some, compilation of variables included with, I guess, the skill cap of the individual driver, the individual player, right?
Which is why I think that lighter, faster tanks have an incredibly high skill ceiling, because maneuverability and vision, along with camo, I think affords you so many advantages over an opponent that is in a heavier medium tank that does not have those same advantages, or at least not to that degree. I feel like light tanks allow you that. And you can see that especially in a 1v1 with light tanks. However, once you start getting more and more tanks, the one-sidedness of a fight really does get thrown off when you start adding more guns to the fight.
Well, it is west side versus west side, and ordinarily we want to see the heavier tanks going to the east side because there's more hull-down positions that exist where you're just playing trench warfare against your opponents, but it's not going to be the case this time around. I'm going to say if there is a west side push from RBIS, it's going to be so much slower. Look, we're at 2 minutes in already, and there still hasn't been an aggressive push. So that's 2 minutes that I Love Lamp is saying, oh my goodness, this is great. Now it's a 5-minute battle, and all we have to do is stay alive for 5 minutes longer. That puts the onus on RBIS so much more to do something with less time. Not a great situation to be in with this assault mode.
However, I think that RBIS may have intentionally played this way. So we have Sela and Oxmathis, they were holding back in a hold-down position. I think they were waiting for I Love Lamp to counter in the same way that we saw Elevate Hammer Time. Remember that lineup when they brought the 3 T-32s earlier? And how that was countered out? Sela and Oxmathis must have been watching because the play style there was such that they were expecting that kind of a hard counter play. So RBIS, while they may have wasted a few minutes, I think they were trying to save some of their potential. They wanted to kind of mitigate any chance for a counterplay. And so it may have wasted time, but they ensured that I Love Lamp wasn't going to be able to pull anything really cheeky.
Check out this mini-map real quick. I want to switch over. Look at how well the blue team has retreated. I Love Lamp realizing they need to keep kiting this heavier lineup, saying, okay, let's back up, and they're going to swoop around. We're going to watch for the rest of I Love Lamp to go into the center and get that great surround that we saw just last battle.
Exactly, and now Precam, as he always does, drives out into the open and gets himself destroyed by Invade. I Love Lamp members, having backed off a little earlier, are in the perfect position to counter any kind of west side flank on the eastern cap.
That's right.
So now Akiyama, Gabriel Angelos, and Smiley are put in a weird position where they a moment ago were getting ready for that kind of a flank, are going to be forced to go up and over and jump just onto the cap. I think this is going to be a fast cap from RBIS, where they're going to need to counter out the position of fight breast cancer as fast as they can and without taking as much damage, but I Love Lamp is in a perfect position to get that same concave.
It's the same thing, man. I mean, you're going to... if you want to, just look at the minimap, and it's going to tell you who's going to win this battle. It's such a beautiful concave. Look at this popping in here. The turret break is unreal. That is, there's so many RBIS tanks that want to focus on one tank, but they have all other tanks that are swooping in, getting very easy critical damage shots because they have better crossfires.
And finally, fight breast cancer goes down. You realize how long he was alive in that position?
It's unreal.
That's such a distraction. Autoloaders having to reload. It allows everyone to get in position, and now Aggressor, while he is in a position that could get overmatched very easily, he's already dealt enough damage to some tanks where he's going to be able to keep some people at bay. Akiyama may come to help out against him, but he's going to have to leave Sella and Oxmathis behind. The whole of Arbis's unit has been completely torn apart.
Aggressor just killed his opponent by ramming. What a baller here. Now Sella is going to be the next one. Looks like Aggressor is going to get crushed here.
Oh!
Wow.
But that's a
Baby
trade.
Halo. Baby Halo. Crushing face, man. Doesn't mess around.
I mean, did you see him earlier? He was styling.
Oh my goodness. And Baby Halo now putting damage on Akiyama. Akiyama will go down to ex-soldier though. Oxmathis again is in a position where he's trying to shoot at Akala, but obviously Baby Halo in the perfect position. Down will go this T-32.
Now Smiley is the only one left for Arbis. Oh, never mind.
You spoke too soon. Winner going over to I Love Lamp. These guys look so solid, so good. Another team just like Elevate where we saw a consistent climb. They're in this middle top tier echelon of the division, but I'm telling you, here's another team that you gotta look out. They're going to make a strong showing to go to the finals.
Although, tell me if you believe this as well. I think Arbis keeps falling into the same traps.
I agree.
I think that they are taking what should be obvious bait to them. A team with this level of performance in the past, this level of skill, these players on the team, I'd assume that they'd be able to see that because I Love Lamp went a little bit to the west, then when they jump on Cap, they're going to be flanked from the west. And they never seem as well prepared for that flank as they could be, or I can't believe that I Love Lamp is making more shells connect in such a way, or is doing something individually skilled that is outpacing Arbis by that much, because this tactical move is affording them that huge of an advantage.
Sure.
Position, crossfires and such. There is some individual play that's great here, but the players in Arbis are some of the best in the league. Definitely some of the best in North American server. I can't believe that they're getting whomped like this.
I think it's because, I mean, just the overall planning of Arbis just is not there against their opponents. I mean, they are thinking. It's not like they're not. We've seen RBIS do some really cool stuff throughout this season. And it's just as they're going further and further and further on, things aren't getting put together. They feel like, this is at least how it seems, they feel a little bit stalematey, right? Like they don't know exactly how to break this aggression or this defense. And they make mistakes while defending as well, and it just costs them. It's small, little, tiny mistakes. If we look at it, defenders should be both winning theoretically in expected results. If you're a defender, you should be winning. So it should be 2-2 after this series.
Because if you're better than your opponent, you should win.
Correct.
Just that very base one.
That's
not even the percentage.
Yeah, that's our
based.
baseline, right?
Okay.
And when we see this discrimination of these 4 games so far, it is RBIS getting so far out of position in our first game that they just or excuse me, was it the first or second? I think it was the second game.
The first one is the one where Arbis actually won. Now
okay, so it's the second battle. That's where we saw a lot of mistakes in their defense. That's where just one tiny little thing is affecting them so much, and they're falling behind in these series. And that's what it really comes down to. Not making any theoretical mistakes. And also, I love that I Love Lamp is bringing out that E25. It's a nice, different, dynamic change. I shouldn't say dynamic change, but it's a small change that just throws off your opponents, forces them to react, and if you force them to react, you're going to incur more mistakes from your opponents. It doesn't matter what it is. If I throw a ball at you and I say, hey, look out, or if I don't, you're much more inclined to either dodge it or catch it if I say, hey, look out, than if I don't at all. And that's what the E25 represents.
I think that's a very strong analyzation of that. Yeah, I was like that.
It's just forcing mistakes. That's what competitive play a lot of times is about. Because if you're both playing perfect, how are you supposed to discriminate who's the better team? It's through incurring mistakes. We're all human. We're going to try to do that. And of 7 people, there's a lot of people to make mistakes there. 7 people.
I was really just thinking, now I'm convinced that E25 is not a bad decision.
Boom.
Boom. Okay.
That's what I'm talking about. All right, battle number 5. We're moving over to Himmelsdorf. 3-1 up for I Love Lamp. Let's get into it.
All right, your new favorite tank, Andre? E25?
Oh, baby, baby.
It's played by Baby Halo, of course.
Oh,
Tiger
the
one.
perfect guy to play it. Might I add, okay? Might I add.
I mean, you may...
Hey, I'm a Baby Halo fan right now. If there's a fanboy right now for Baby Halo, it's going to be #1 Grey Turp right over here. for that E25.
I think if you
Boom.
ever get to meet Aggressor, you might change your mind. He's like a larger version of Baby Halo. Like they both wear that same, you know, sleeveless, the cut-off
yeah.
sleeveless shirt. They both have the awesome hat and shades.
Oh yeah, that's
Yeah.
what I'm looking for, my friend.
You're
That's
looking
what I'm looking for.
for that version 2.
All right, so let's look at opening lineups, how these guys are actually going for Himmelsdorf. So we have the very standard defenders. This is what you should always expect, or for the most part expect, on Himmelsdorf for the defenders.
Every
The
single
red
time.
team is just taking the Northwest. It's a very defensive, comprehensive way to deal with anything that your opponents can do. It deals with the West cap, able to adjust, get good crossfires, and reset cap if they need to. And it also deals with the east side. And he pushes up the center. Everything's fine. The real question is, how do the aggressors go about this map? And I think we've kind of seen what they're going to do with Baby Halo.
They're going to hide him on cap again?
They're going to hide him on cap.
I mean, I didn't even have to look at the minimap to see that that's where he was going. It's a really obvious call. This is almost like we saw Timed Out try the same concept earlier with a 59-16 and a KV5.
Yep.
So what's going to change here? What's going to be different? What's going to make this successful for I Love Lamp where
Well,
it
there
didn't
is
work
no
for others?
KV5.
Well, there is that. Oh wait, are they planning on hiding Baby Halo out there without any cover?
I think it's just going to be that
Because-
block. Oh yeah, it's without cover.
Because Sella
You don't care none.
is right here.
So is Mi
Wait,
Amigo.
he's not spotted. Isn't that a direct line of sight? You've got to be kidding me. That thing's not that stealthy. I know it's stealthy.
Oh, so you think.
I thought it...
Hashtag E25. Hashtag WGLNA. Hashtag
I-
new meta.
I'm eating so many words
I
right
know.
now.
Eat them. Eat them. I hope you like them. I hope they're a little bit sour and bitter.
I could use a little more sodium in my diet.
It is important to note, though, that Baby Skittles and Invade have taken a shot each, so they need to be very careful. But 70 seconds, it's a little bit more than 70 seconds, but if that goes by and Baby Halo isn't stopped here, that means RBIS will have to push out with a single tank and try to spot Baby Halo. And when they do that, that's a tier 7 or a tier 8 that's going to be exposed and potentially killed.
Yeah, this is so curious how the fact that no one has found the angle to get Baby Halo. Ox Mathis has no shot on Baby Halo. You go over, Mi Amigo is just a little ways away.
Oh man, and look at this, Aggressor setup. I love it. Akiyama is moving on in, and now Aggressor able to get great shots. Akiyama needs to be careful. Now Smiley is in range. He gets hit. And look at where Fight Breast Cancer is. This is insane, man. They know exactly what's happening because the E25 is out of range, out of sight. And at the same time, they said, well, you guys need to go and find him pretty soon here. Let's go and set up for the spots on him. They're doing it perfectly.
And look who leads the way. Captain of RBIS. It's Precam. He
Pre-cam.
decides, you know what? We can't wait here anymore.
We need our
cannot.
driving skills up. Precam gets...
Now they've spotted him.
Okay, Baby Halo gets off cap now. Oh my god, are you going to stay alive, Baby Halo?
And there's the connection.
No, he's
KV2
not.
right into Baby
He's dead.
Halo. Sella finishes him off. And now, where does I Love Lamp go? The hit points, not that different. Akiyama, though, is incredibly low on hit points. One more shell will finish him off. He finishes his clip, and that's just in time for Aggressor to take him down. Now, this position held by I Love Lamp, I do not favor. I think this is a position where often you're easily outmaneuvered. RBIS has the potential, tactically, to win this battle.
I agree. I think RBIS is still in a defensive position. They have the defender's advantage, but they are losing tanks and they're losing more hit points. The trades have been consistent, but if we're talking about Himmelsdorf, if we're talking about the percentage that people win as the defenders, I think I Love Lamp is doing a great job. Still RBIS, a tough opponent to crack so far.
Yeah, and now Baby Skittles, I think he may have made the first mistake. This is an opportunity for RBIS. If they can engage properly on Baby Skittles, get this kill, they can react from this.
Okay,
And
that's
there,
good.
Ex-Soldier should go down next. There's the focus. Perfect. Now, Akula, no, he is not the right target. Fight Breast Cancer, right there behind you. He's actually the right target. Unfortunately, RBIS did not recognize that he was coming around, and now we've got a split. Smiley is trying to take on Akula, but he is at a severe disadvantage. Akula has more shells. Smiley is now out. Mi Amigo.
This might be the time, my friend. This might be the time. Invade needs to come in too. Missed a shot by Ox Mathis, and down he will go. Fight Breast Cancer is going to move in. Is this going to be it? Both the guys are clipping right now.
They have time to run away. and they have about equal speed. All they have to do is drive efficiently, and they can escape for long enough to deal the damage.
Okay.
If you look at the hit points, Smiley, yes, he's at 104. Mi Amigo is at 758. I think they should have taken that left. They did not.
Oh, gosh. And down Smiley goes. Now it's just Mi Amigo. He is able to dodge that. 1:20. And I think Mi Amigo will be able to do this. He's going to get away.
I'm not going to bet on that yet. It all depends on his decisions. He's going to go right at the fork.
Uh-oh. Uh-oh.
Invade?
It's
Yes.
not the right
Invade's
way.
going to chase him. All right, there's the head games. See, that's what
Oh,
it depends
wow.
on. Invade could have gone with the head game and said, I'm going to go straight, not lose any efficiency on this, and I might be able to catch Mi Amigo while he's moving north. But, as you can see, Invade decided to just follow the exact path and not try and take any shortcuts.
Oh, man. Wow, sick game, man. What a sick battle.
The head games.
How much more could you ask out of battle number 5 here, RBIS versus I Love Lamp? I mean, the mind games in just this alone was so crazy. And then not only that, I love the game plan from I Love Lamp. We're taking a very stagnant, very, I guess, you know, rigid type of gameplay that we're expecting always on Himmelsdorf and shaking it up a little bit, using that E25, and it's working out flawlessly. I shouldn't say flawlessly, but pretty good, man.
It's working
pretty
out
freaking good.
pretty well. It certainly did get some results for I Love Lamp. However, RBIS reacted well to a situation
Yes.
in a very short period of time where I Love Lamp was exposed and their tactical position was inferior. You saw RBIS take advantage,
Exactly.
and you have to give them credit.
I'm definitely going to give them credit for that. Their defender's advantage worked out really well. As soon as they stop the E25, they have to realize, okay, guys, let's relax, take our defender's advantage yet again, realize that our alpha is going to be stronger than our opponent, and just wait for them to pop in. And I Love Lamp has one move directly after the E25 dies. That's the push in. They're able to get the extremely good engagements and have the HP advantage for the most part. But I Love Lamp came back after a lot of the clipping from the 5100s, and some great driving is going to keep I Love Lamp down. Well, not down, but RBIS is going to pick up the win, I should say.
Yes, and you got to give a lot of credit to both teams. I liked I
Yeah.
Love Lamp's strategy. The approach was kind of cool. It was a little new. It showed us something that we really hadn't recognized was quite so strong before, because E25 is not something that was brought on this map. 5916 was in the past. It's a light tank, usually as a turret. That's why we choose them over tank destroyers. But tank destroyers have one advantage right now, and that is once they are immobile, once they're not moving, if they have a camo net, their camo will go higher, and they will be more stealthy than any of those light tanks, which is something you don't often think about, because tank destroyers are stealthy, yes, but you wouldn't think of them being the more mobile, stealthy tank.
For sure.
Yeah, because when you're in the open like that, it doesn't feel stealthy. It feels like you should be spotted because there's no real bush cover or anything like that.
Definitely so.
Yeah.
But man, RBIS showing their teeth, I would say, in this battle in particular. Of course, they are the defenders, so they should be, in general, winning this. But I'm really looking forward to see how RBIS actually goes as the aggressors. Still, they're going to be the defenders. They are down 2 and 3. So I Love Lamp has the capabilities of really closing out when they're the defenders. Let's find out what we have in game number 6.
All right, so for either side, 3 AMX 5100s, difference is everything else. IS-3, 2 T-32s, and a KV-2 for RBIS. So instead of bringing any T-29s, those tier 7s, they're just going with straight T-32s, and they're just going to kind of throw a KV-2 in there. Other side, I Love Lamp, 2 IS-3s, a Tiger 1, and that E-25 again, telling us they might go for much of the same strategy. But part of me says, no, I Love Lamp, that's a really bad idea. It says like that should not work, right?
Yeah.
It just feels that way.
But
at the same time,
it worked on steps, right? They lost the first time, they won the second time.
it seems like RBIS doesn't react that way to seeing a lineup.
But also, we got to realize that it was still effective in the fact that, you know, they got an HP advantage, and it's better than just doing the center line derp, right? The center line, when they push at like from B5 to A5, we've seen that over and over and over again in the league so far, and a lot of teams are just like, well, I'm relegated to this. There's nothing better that I can do. And I feel like I Love Lamp is putting in the sample size to really find out, is that the best way to approach this map? Is that going to give me the highest chance of success? And who knows? Maybe it is, maybe it isn't. They're finding out right now. That's what I love about it. They're testing their opponents to see, hey, hey, are you comprehensive on the west side? I can still be doing east and north pushes. There's a lot that
How
you have to keep
familiar
in mind.
are you with solving these problems? And how
Exactly.
capable are you of solving problems and improvising?
Because if you're doing mostly center push defenses in practice, that means you have severely less time dealing with this west side push. And if all I Love Lamp has been doing is saying, okay, we might have a 35% win rate instead of a 33% win rate, but the extra 2% is worth it. Let's go for it.
Yeah, I'd agree for that. Okay.
Just
And-
because they're practicing it more than their opponents, you know?
Yeah, they're practicing also more varying strats
Exactly.
that do not get countered in the same way. The only reason I think that RBIS won the last one is because after everything starts to go crazy and everyone's entire plan falls apart, they kept it together. Now, we can see Sela and Precam right now are covering for each other. Precam, there's actually a way you can shield Sela without exposing your armor as well. There's a way you can stack T-32s to cause an auto bounce on the corner, and you can actually create a hold down behind another T-32.
It's the invincible hold down that you've talked about since season 1.
I have, but I never see anyone try it, and it's always super disappointing. Because, guys, it works.
I know, I
swear.
know.
I swear it works.
You showed me before.
Didn't it work?
It definitely works.
Exactly.
It definitely works.
Oh, wow. Look at this
Look at
response from
X-Soldier.
RBIS. Akiyama, Mi Amigo, Smiley, all down the one line. Here's the response from RBIS. And they have to cross through a pretty open area on their way to this position, but damage taken. Smiley just takes a little bit.
So X-Soldier able to get in the back line, though, and kill... who did he kill? He killed someone. Sela, of course.
Yes, Sela is down now. And because of that, Akiyama, now on the flank, is taking fire from Baby Halo. Baby Halo needs a few more shells, and he's got this.
Oh, do it. Baby Halo, do it!
The E25 does fire rather quickly.
Yeah, I know.
You have to give it that.
Definitely does. Will he get the shots? It doesn't look so. And Smiley actually pushing on in here. Oh, Baby Halo dodged the shot, and he gets the kill on Akiyama. Are you kidding me?
Yes.
Yo, ET25 new meta. It's a fact. Smiley even.
Don't tell them that.
Oh my gosh.
Don't tell everyone.
Oh my
that.
God. Is he really gonna kill a 5100? No way! Oh, Baby Halo!
You have to be
What
kidding
a
me.
sicko!
How did you do that? I know
Oh,
it's that
God.
tiny, but you don't get that close to an E25. Anyone who's played a T29 in a pub match and run into a horde of them, you keep your distance.
Oh my goodness. And Ox Mathis. Oh, he actually bounces a shot from this from Aggressor.
Gabriel helps out, throwing in a shell to kill Baby Skittles. Now Ox Mathis is going to go down, but he stays alive a little longer than expected.
All right, and Mi Amigo is trying to... Oh, I thought he was trying to take out Baby Halo. Baby Halo, man, this guy... Who would have thought, right? Who would have thought X-Soldier going to poke in, just alpha down? It's all right, it's a good trade. One IS-3 shot. No, he did not. Okay. I thought,
It's okay. Baby Halo did not get that last kill.
Wow.
But that was still beautiful.
Wow. That's what I'm talking about. If that is not hype, I Love Lamp right now in chat is going crazy. And it's because E25 just pull it in the clutch. Can we please? Yes, thank you. Let's take a look at that.
Okay.
Akiyama and Smiley. How does this happen? I have no clue.
It shouldn't happen. It does, because that tank is that small that even when you've got a fully settled reticle, you're gonna miss shells because it's that small.
2 missed shells. Okay, 2 missed shells from this 5100. He spent a total of 4 shells. That's 1200 damage that was put out onto an E25 that did not die.
Yeah.
That is incredible. And on top of that, he's able to kill kill Akiyama, another tank. It's just unbelievable E25 play. Let's be honest, it's a little bit lucky too.
Yes. Okay.
But I mean, this is what we're talking about. Forcing mistakes. The E25 is just that wrench in the wheel that forces mistakes and forces a larger variance on their opponents. And now, being the aggressor, they're able to pick up a win, only 1 battle away from taking the series.
I really do feel like I can't tell if this is E25 performance is like a flash in the pan where
Yeah,
we can come up with all
I
these
know.
reasons why it works.
Can we say it's consistent, or is this, as you said, a flash in the pan? And I'm not sure. I mean, we can talk about the theory of, you know, this being a cheesy build or it being a consistent play.
Yeah.
I think it's somewhere in the middle. It's somewhere where it could live, but it's definitely going to have reduced value the more and more and more we see it.
I think that's definitely the way to put it. the more we see this, the less it's going to work. And I think there's going to come a point when everyone knows exactly what you're going for.
That's right. Now we are flipped around. We have RBIS going to be the aggressors and I Love Lamp being the defenders. This is a great position for I Love Lamp to close it out with their 5th win. Let's step into the battle for battle number 7.
All right, we have 2 AMX 5100s, 3 IS3s, a T32, and a T37 for RBIS. On the other side, I Love Lamp defending will have 2 AMX 5100s, an IS3, a KV5, a Waffentrager, a T29, and a Tiger 1. And the TD is yet again played by Baby Halo.
Well,
I mean, it makes
let's
sense.
Be honest. He's crushing it with that TD.
Really
I've
is.
seen this a couple of times with the TD sitting in the top left-hand corner in like the A2 region normally, but Baby Halo looks like he's actually pushing up a lot further. Let me actually
I've got
push
him
over to him.
right here. Oh,
Okay, you got him.
we can
never
we can
mind.
both
We both
watch.
got him.
I mean,
He's actually going to take this hold down position, which is kind of weird to me, because normally he's actually back a lot further. But I mean,
no, it's a fine position. You have a little bit more forward.
yeah,
you
still
have
have
high
that
camo.
400 meter view range, so this makes sense to look down this spot. Precambrian definitely needs to be a little bit careful, but he's well outside of the 400 meter range.
Exactly. I think Baby Halo's also going to be able to spot most tanks before they spot him.
That's true.
Advantages of being a tank destroyer when holding still. Of course,
Yeah,
after
being
firing and
stationary.
moving, you don't really have much of an advantage over any heavy tank. But
And reestablishing what the defense should do, what the aggressor should do. Defense is taking that northwest side. The aggressors, this is a very different changeup that we've seen from, I guess the standard play. We're actually looking at the D-line push and a G-line push. So they're looking for a west side push. Normally we have center line pushes. And I like this. I mean, RBIS saying, hey, we can't do the absolute standard stuff going into the center. Let's explore more options. Let's explore more ways to catch our opponents off guard and get the win.
exactly. They're going to look for those options, but I think with current I Love Lamp lineup, if you look for a weakness, you're going to find that they've got an IS-3 in a position that, yes, you can exploit, but to be honest, the cover fire and the nearby support is strong enough. Akula, covered by X-Soldier, Fight Breast Cancer looking the other way. This is a defensive position that is difficult to approach, and while there are many blind spots to approach to, once you get there, you're looking at a situation that is not that favorable anyway. I mean, yeah, you can make it across to the cap. It's not that, like, you are in a better position. You're still in that coin flip zone where things could go either way. It depends on who makes the connections and the incredibly thin shots.
All right, well, here we go real quick. Sella is moving on in, and there's not a lot of punishing fire. Sella actually able to get into the perfect position at this hold-down spot.
This is what I was
love
talking
what I'm
about.
seeing from RBIS, man. These guys are playing so well on Himmelsdorf.
This is what I was talking about earlier. Remember when I was talking about T-32s on Himmelsdorf?
Yep.
This comes from the European League and the Russian League, where we've seen that, I think, first. Now, after that made its little debut, we had this maneuver, which is you screen for the T-32 because he's the important tank. He needs to be in that hold down. If he does not successfully get there, then you just throw a tank away.
Yeah.
So you add 2 IS-3s to that maneuver. They go in front, they can deal plenty of damage, and then once that T-32 is secure in his position, then you can move back. On top of that, it's a good idea to give him some battle buddies nearby anyway.
Yeah,
So they might as well pop out for the shot while he crosses.
Trying to like strangle the position of the blue team, right? Himmelsdorf, it's very awkward now. Like, do you try to contest a T-32 in perfect hold down position?
Yeah, it's like hitting a pressure point right in the middle of their position. You've got this high...
Smiley.
One more.
Oh, God. Smiley going down. Big mistake.
I don't know why he was there, honestly. Why are you on the left side of the road? What are you trying to achieve? Where are you trying to go?
Right.
And now Precam is down to... That was a baby Halo shell. That makes a lot of sense. He can one-shot him.
Yeah. But I love what you said right there. It's, what do you achieve by moving like this? That's what you always have to ask with every single one of your movements. What are you trying to accomplish? What are you trying to achieve? How does this benefit the team? And in this case, the T-32 is already accomplishing the same thing that the IS-3 does and 10 times more. So don't put that IS-3 there. It's only going to be a liability, and just use it elsewhere. Cover for Akiyama. He's already super low. Go all the way on the west side push. Well, I guess not, because X-Soldier just crushes him.
Yeah.
But you have to do something else. You can't basically overlap the same places that your other tanks are already doing a better job at.
And especially in an exposed position like that. It's just,
Yes.
you're just going to get torn apart. Now, we have an interesting position because Aggressor, Starshield, the 2 tier 7s for I Love Lamp, are engaging with Mi Amigo. And while they have plenty of damage output, Aggressor, by the way, using the 90 mil and not the 105 on the T29, firing gold, you have just as much pen as the other 90, but
And firing faster.
Yes, exactly. So better DPM, and that's what you're trying to do.
Yep.
At the same time, it looks like, Gabriel Angelos is going to move over. Baby Halo, though, look at Baby Halo. He's about in position to just wreck one of the remaining tanks of RBIS. And you can see the coordination. I Love Lamp calls everyone to move at the same time so that no group can flex well enough. 696 into Ox Mathis. Starshield is being focused, but Mi Amigo has no more shells. Aggressor can get the kill on Mi Amigo, but a low roll will keep him alive. There goes Sella, Ox Mathis. Both of them are down. Only one tank remains, and that's Gabriel.
That's right, and Gabriel going to be tracked here, just absolutely devastated. It doesn't matter, even if Aggressor goes down here, he was tracked for a little bit, but thanks to those repairs, he's back on his feet. Gabriel Angelos will go down. And
That's
there you go, ladies and gentlemen. I Love Lamp taking it 5-2 in a brilliant performance. I have to say, that was a great series. This series and the last series have been some of the best series I've seen so far in WGLNA.
I think they're really enriching, is what they are. I take a lot from this. I think from here, we can look at maps like Himmelsdorf, like Steps, Brorovka, and we can reapproach them with some new perspectives, I think. A perspective that were never really explored. Things that just, they've been out there, but for some reason or another, they've always been assumed to be false or assumed to be inferior strategies, when in fact, the only reason they are inferior strategy is because there was a strategy that countered that exactly. And so because there is no best strategy in this format, at least I believe that there's no best strategy in this format, everything is a varying level of good relative to other strategies in a giant multiverse of strategy.
And, I have to give credit to RBIS too, because, we constantly look at it and say, well, what are expectations? All right, and what are people doing to break expectations? And on Himmelsdorf in particular, it's let's play just the Northwest as defenders and to just receive our opponents. And I think both teams did a great job at just mixing it up and trying to incur as many mistakes as possible. I really feel like we saw a great diversity in playstyles, in how these guys played their tanks, and it gave more options for these teams to discriminate skill as the aggressors. And we even saw I Love Lamp take the win on map number 5, which is so unorthodox.
Yeah, I felt that there were just so many interesting things also earlier in the night. You look back to Elevate Hammer Time.
That's true too.
Another one where we have play and counterplay, the interaction between both teams being unique and something slightly different than what we've seen before. Not so far off that it was out of left field or something, but it was such that we haven't experienced those two teams in such a dynamic.
Well, it's a test too. Like, okay, you saw me play Artie. Let's switch it up and bring 3 T-32s. How well do you deal with that? If I constantly change it up, I'm going to be able to discriminate whether or not I can get this win as the aggressor. And I think that's the most important thing. What is the saying? It's like craziness is expecting different results from doing the same thing.
Insanity is expecting the same results, or it's different results doing the same thing.
If you look through a lot of the World of Tanks broadcasts, you'll see that a lot of the same results and a lot of the same plays, right? It's always the center push. This is standard on Himmelsdorf, saying over and over again.
You're playing probability is all it is.
Exactly.
And you're on the losing end on the attack.
Exactly. Why not change it up, feel it out, try new strategies? That's what we saw tonight. A bunch of great series from these last 4 teams.
Yeah, I really agree with all of this. I think that also the offline, we'll have to revisit those if you get a chance to.
What big upsets. Simp losing as well, 5-2?
Exactly. You can go to fantasywgl.com. It's a fan site put together, and it compiles every replay from online and offline broadcasts so that you can go and study them yourself if you get a chance to.
Well, don't worry, because we have the recap of tonight ready for you guys. Let's first take a look at what we broadcasted if you guys are just tuning in or tuned in the middle. We had Noble versus Simple Tankers, 5-1 in favor of Simple Tankers. Roulette, 5-2 against Timeout. Elevate was able to take a convincing win off of Hammer Time by a score of 5-1. And to round out the day, a great series between RBIS and I Love Lamp. Despite it being so dramatic, 5-2, it was still a very closely contended series.
I think so. So we're all of the other matches, you look back to them, and it feels like they were a little closer in many areas. I think that teams now are figuring out, or we're getting to that skill gap where people are just good enough to the point where they're going to 5-1, 5-2 each other, and the other teams are just going to discover something, and it's going to put them right up there, and we're going to find teams that tiebreakers yet again, probably sometime around the playoffs.
And Rukil, I have to appease you because we got to take a look at the non-broadcasted matches and take a look at what happened for today. So we had 5-2 advantage for Cunningham's over Fun Gaming, a 5-2 advantage for Victoria's Secret over Penguin Mafia, 5-2 Fear over Simp. Oh, a lot of 5-2s today, and still going on Simply Irresistible against Top Tier. Simply Irresistible up 2-1, but anything can happen right now. It could be 2 defense wins against 1 defense win. So we're still going to wait.
I'm guessing a 5-1 victory.
5-1.
Or a 5-2.
That's pretty bold, man.
5-1, 5-2 victory.
It's the day for 5-2s, that's for sure. That's for sure. Let's also take a look at the standings and see where a lot of these teams actually are kind of situated. Simp still the #1 dog, despite losing quite a bit of series throughout these last 3 broadcasts.
Yeah, I was trying to look back earlier, and I didn't expect this to happen, but they may be overtaken. The Cunninghams now at 28 points, Hammer Time at 26. Right behind them is 25 points Fear. I Love Lamp 24, and yes, the tie is here. Elevate 24 points. Simple Tankers 24 points, and then we go to Don't Tell Me Fun Gaming 18 points, and then who's right behind them? I'm waiting for it because it's probably still a tie, isn't it?
I think it is still a tie.
Yeah,
Simply Irresistible and RBIS both at 18 points. So you can see RBIS, because of this loss today, they're on that cusp of not making it to the playoffs. On their trails is going to be Top Tier, Noble, Roulette. Of course, we kind of said that Noble, it's really, really tough for them to ascend to that level. Roulette is the one that we really have to be careful for because we know they're capable of greatness, and at the same time, they have a lot of series to make up.
Yeah, exactly. So their current record does not reflect the same number of battles played and all that. So it's going to be curious to see if they can play as well as we hope they will in a very short amount of time.
That's right. So a lot of really, really good matches for tonight and a lot of great matches for our next broadcast. That's going to be week number 8. It's our last week of regular divisional play. Let's take a look at what we have scheduled for there.
We have Fear, I Love Lamp at 5 p.m. to start the broadcast. Then we have Simple Tankers versus Simply Irresistible. We couldn't have planned for a better timing on that match.
Seriously.
Hammer Time versus Penguin Mafia at about 7:30. And then Roulette versus Simp. Another match which I don't think we could have planned better.
I mean, another great day of matches, I would say. And as I said, it's the last week. We're really going to find out who makes it to the playoffs. Remember, 10th spot through 3rd spot are the ones that are going to fight to go into the finals. Top 4 will push over. I also want to just clarify one more thing, that Fear, the new Fear, is the former Full Potato. So if you guys are a little bit curious of who's this Fear team, why are they coming into the league mid-season? It's not. It's just a switch over, so it's Full Potato.
Yeah, I think you can go to teamfeargaming.com and look up any information on their team if you're curious about the new sponsor for the former Full Potato.
So that being said, ladies and gentlemen, playoffs, as I said, will happen after the week number 8, and they're all fighting for a spot. Top 4 will go to San Francisco, a beautiful, beautiful city, on March 15th. The Ides of March, the anniversary of Julius Caesar's death, if you didn't know that already.
I did, but I
March
wasn't
15th.
really trying to think of that connection, but I'll go with it.
It is that. March 15th, ladies and gentlemen, be sure to be there. Or be square. Don't be square. You got to get there. It's going to be a lot of fun.
That it is.
All right, Rukil, that's going to do it for today. Guys, thank you so much for tuning in. It's been great hosting over here with my good friend yet again. And from everybody in the back and, of course, everybody up here, thank you for tuning in. And we'll catch you next time.